While we know the public Bob the journalist, there's a lot more beneath that public persona. The real Bob is a gentleman who deeply respects and cares about people.
George was born either 1893 or 1894, somewhere in there, in Kentucky. And I'm affiliated with the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame. And what really put me on to him, when we started that Hall of Fame, I had done an interview with a guy named Cornelius Cook, who was from Bloomington, who played athletics at Bloomington High School, and pitched in the Negro Leagues. He was one of the charter members of our Hall of Fame. To write that program piece, I went back and went over my notes, the transcribed notes from that interview, and there was one line that I hadn't pursued then because it wasn't germane to the writing about Cornelius Cook. He said, "I only pitched against George Shively once." And I thought, well, that must mean something. So I started Googling George Shively. And George Shively was a 7-time Negro League All-Star, 2-time MVP. I mean, there were some black players in the Hall of Fame now that didn't have the Negro League record that this guy does. And he was listed just from Bloomington, Indiana. Well, then I did all the background check on him. So I found out that he'd played at both West Baden and French Lick hotels were thriving resorts in the early 1900s, and they each had a baseball team, and they were all black, and they were the reporters in the hotel, but each of those hotels just 2 miles apart had its own baseball stadium. Those hotels would play 100 games a year against each other. And the diamonds they had were of such quality that major league teams would stop. In 1909, the Pirates actually stopped off during the season in September on a trip from St. Louis to Chicago. They stopped off and played a game against George Shively and some of those stars of those teams and lost. I didn't think I could justify putting him in our Monroe County Hall of Fame just because he apparently lived here in the off season after he started playing baseball. But then it turned out that he and his father showed up on the Monroe County census in 1900 when he was like 6 or 7. They'd moved up here then, so he went to school here. Now he's our guy. So now I'm really digging, and found out that he was buried in an unmarked grave in Bloomington. What was on this committee, and I set out to try to raise some community funds to get a marker on his grave at Rose Hill. And we were going to discuss it at the History Center. I'm hoping to get $1,500, $2,000 out of it. We ended up with $18,000. So on April 5th of 2015, opening day of the Major League season, Easter Sunday afternoon, we had a ceremony out at Rose Hill dedicating that monument.